Hello, future Salzburgers. My name is Michael Ricker. I am the resident director here at the Portland Culture Program in Salzburg, Austria. I am so excited to be welcoming you to the center. For some of you in a couple of months, for others maybe a little bit longer. Um, I'm really excited to have you here in Austria and learning all about the culture and getting the opportunity to study abroad. So, I have been asked to come up with a list of the top 5 tips for success that you can have at the center here in Salzburg, Austria. So, without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for success, what to know at the center, and really, kind of what to be prepared for. It's my understanding that there's some students here that are going to be recording a separate video that you all can view. So that's going to go kind of a lot super in depth on, kind of the facilities and certain things to expect. So really, this is, kind of my opportunity to really talk about how you all can succeed while you're here, because similar to the University of Portland's residence directors, it's my job to be here to support you all, to kind of help you through this experience, to really be, kind of your cultural guide as you are here for some of you a couple of months, some of you a couple of weeks, some of you an entire year. So without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for success at the center. Tip number 1, dress to impress. The sort of cultural standards here in terms of dress are going to be higher than at the University of Portland. In UP, it's pretty common for students to probably show up wearing sweatpants or athletic shorts. Here at the center, and more broadly in Austria, it's sort of seen as kind of classes, especially at the university, are seen as that first foray into the work world. And so while it's not necessarily expected that you show up fully business casual, with a button down and some nice pants or your professional attire, there is certainly an expectation that you are dressing well, dressing professionally, and sort of ready to learn. Especially, this is something that is going to come into play when, for some of you students, when we visit certain historical sites, certain cultural sites that have thousands of years of some of them thousands of years of history, or significant spiritual relevance. There's certain expectations in terms of kind of the standard for dress, and a lot of that is some of that's cultural, some of that's spiritual, and so really what's to keep in mind is, if you want to bring sweatpants, if you want to bring the jeans with the holes in them, go for it, definitely. But that's, kind of for when you're hanging out in the center, when you're in class, when you're, kind of going to go on some of these excursions, there's, like I said, just a little bit of a higher standard. So that is tip number 1, is think about the, kind of what you're bringing and how you're presenting to class every day. Tip number 2 is you are in a country that speaks different language. A lot of people do know English, but I've really found that the students who really get the most out of their study abroad experience are the ones that really embrace the language learning. I hope some of you have either taken some classes. If nothing else, hopefully you've got a streak going on Duolingo. But the great thing is that you're going to have professors that speak German. There are 2 Austrians who work full time for the program that I really enjoy practicing my German skills with. So really, kind of start as much as possible practicing those language skills. And once you're here, don't be afraid to use them. You might it might be a little uncomfortable. They might pretty quickly realize, oh, you don't speak German super well, so they'll probably switch over to English. But a lot of people really appreciate when you at least make an attempt. So really start brushing up on your language skills if you haven't, and get ready to hopefully have some conversations in a different language. Tip number 3 around the center is cleanliness in facilities. So like I said, some of the students are going to probably show you via video the facilities. Again, as I stated on that first tip, the standards are much higher here in Austria. That doesn't just mean, kind of with dress, but that also means with the cleanliness of the facilities. There is sort of this expectation that the students in the program really are the ones who keep the center clean. Now, unlike at the University of Portland, we do not have kind of full-time cleaning staff to be able to assist with kind of the making sure the facilities are kept clean. So a lot of that work does fall to students. Please don't feel like you're going to have to clean every single day. There is sort of a rotating committee sort of assignment that I'm sure someone will talk to you about if they don't beforehand. That will definitely talk to you once you arrive. But don't feel like, oh man, I've got to clean every single day. But we will be talking, especially once you arrive, about making sure you really take ownership of the space and really making sure that we are being clean, because the Austrians have a very high standard, and if we don't meet that standard, they are not afraid to let us know. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, is to really, like I said, take ownership of making sure the facility stays clean and neat, because it really is a beautiful facility here. It's a great sort of area of living that we all have. So that is tip number 3. 2 more. Tip number 4. This is a big one. Probably should have been tip number 1, but don't forget the study part of study abroad. I know that a lot of students come here and they can feel like, oh, wow, I'm placed right in the center of Europe. I'm going to use this experience to really go travel and to go explore. And to that, I say, all right, fantastic. I really hope that you do as much as you can to embrace the local culture and to really, as much as possible, make this your experience. Having said that, this is a study abroad experience, and so there is going to be an expectation that you are getting the work done, that you are preparing for classes ahead of time. Like I said, higher standards. That includes when you kind of come to class. There's an expectation amongst the professors that you have done the assigned reading and that you are ready to sort of contribute to the class discussions. There is an expectation that you are going to dive into the material and really be an active participant in a lot of these classes. A lot of these classes are with the University of Portland fellow students, so it can feel a lot like a UP class. But again, this is a kind of a European class, and so really make sure that you are not forgetting the study part of your study abroad experience. The last tip I have, I mentioned it a little bit. Don't just be ready to embrace the culture. Don't be afraid to, like I said, initiate a conversation with somebody in German, or to really explore the city, explore all that Austria has to offer, because there is such a rich culture here that just has so much history and so much tradition. And so I'm really excited to be able to help you all explore that. We do have a van that seats 8 people, and so we can use that for certain excursions if we want to, go visit some salt mines, or participate in certain activities that are going to really help embrace the culture. As a part of that, you might feel uncomfortable at some point, because it's going to be a culture different than yours. It's incredibly uncomfortable, even for me, when I'm in the grocery store and somebody immediately comes up and the grocery store attendant will start talking to me in German. There's going to be an assumption that you're a German speaker for the most part. And so you might feel uncomfortable, you might feel awkward, you might feel homesick, but don't kind of shy away from really embracing the culture, because you are only here for a limited time, and it is very important that you really take that time to, as much as possible, make the most of your experience while you're here. That is all that I have for you. I am so excited to welcome you all to the center when you arrive. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you, to getting to help you really embrace the culture, because it is a wonderful city, a wonderful country, and there is so much to explore. So I really look forward to seeing you all soon.
Hello, UP family. We're at the Study Abroad Salzburg program, and my name is Diego.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Jenner.
And we're just going to show you guys around today and give you some quick info about what it's like to be here.
There are many options to deal with your mental and physical health in Salzburg. The center is a very tight community environment with plenty of group activities. There's a park right at the end of the block and plenty of gyms nearby, including a bouldering place. At the center, we have yoga mats, weights, a ping pong table, sports equipment, and some bikes that will be leaving here.
We are currently in the kitchen at the center. We have breakfasts provided, so we don't have to go out for breakfast. And then we also have lunch covered at the AG. And yeah, we use the space to cook dinners a lot. I personally like to cook dinner more, so I don't go out as often.
All right, this is the park right by our school where we have played football or soccer, other sports. And over here, if you follow me, this is the canteen where we have lunch every day on school days. It's part of the Salzburg AG, which is the electrical company.
Restart. Hey. So we're at Kebaba right now. This is by far, I would say, most people's go-to for food. It's about a minute walk from the center. It's very cost effective, because we get a meal stipend every week at the center. So as you can see, let's get a close-up here, Jenner. I got the pommes huhn. It's just loaded French fries. It's so delicious. And then what'd you get, Charlie?
Falafel kebab.
Falafel
My
kebab.
favorite.
Come on. And so yeah, come on. There are plenty of grocery stores around, but Spar is the go-to. Our favorite food places in Old Town are the oldest bakery in Salzburg and the Balkan Grill, which is the oldest Boston stand and easily worth the line.
Hi, we are currently in the conference room talking to you about finances, including budgeting and extra costs. So we get about €40 meal stipend a week for groceries and eating out. It is very helpful, but a little low, so you might expect to spend a little money out of your pocket for food each month. Extra costs, it's kind of gets a little expensive to travel around, and it can add up if you're not constantly monitoring it. So I recommend looking into the OBB youth card and also Eurail.
For somebody who is on scholarships like myself, I never thought that this would be something that I could afford or really just experience. And I would say, just reach out to the Study Abroad office, and there's so many great people who are just willing to help and, accommodate for your situation. So I would never rule yourself out just because of the finances. However, you will be spending money out of pocket at some points. So
This is the train station. It's less than a 10-minute walk from campus, and we can really go anywhere from here. Italy is super close, Hungary's super close, Vienna's 2 hours away, Munich's less than 2 hours away, and just this last weekend I traveled all around the Czech Republic.
Okay guys, so we're in the classroom right now. It's about a 10-second walk from the main building, which is pretty awesome. One thing I'd like to touch up on is while you're studying abroad here is that the coursework is going to be lighter, most likely, than what you've experienced back on the home campus. However, going hand in hand with that is time management. This can be a biggie for students like myself because sometimes, with the given circumstances, you just want to go explore the city or you want to go on a cool little weekend trip because we don't have school on Fridays here. But it's always worthwhile to be making good habits and choices because the work will just topple on to one another and you have stuff that's just piling on that you've been waiting to do. So I think that's the reality of it. And then also one thing is you may be wondering, am I going to graduate on time? You will graduate on time if you've been on track this whole time, but I know for myself, I'm a business major and I'm going to be taking a heavier credit course load for the next few semesters, but given the circumstances, I would say it's worth it for me.
I don't have many packing recommendations for you guys, except you should pack lighter than heavier because you'll be coming back home with much more stuff than you came here with. Also, I'm very happy to have brought pictures because it made my room much more homey while I've been here. Also, this was my first time out of the country, and I kind of went into it with not many expectations, and it was nice to just kind of address things as they came. And Austrian culture, it is a little difficult to get accustomed to, especially if this is your first time being here. But it's very interesting, deep history, and you'll learn that Austrians value punctuality and being respectful in public.
So going into study abroad, I did not know anybody, and I was very nervous, and I feel like that's normal because you're going somewhere very far away from home. However, I would say that around the center, it's really easy to be friendly with everyone. One of the things that I have kind of in reflection felt is like I didn't really form any crazy deep connections with anybody per se. However, I've had some of the best conversations with people and total strangers within the city of Salzburg. But one of the key points that I wanted to talk about is that studying abroad, I didn't realize was not about just going and traveling and being friends with everybody, but it's more of like a full circle yin yang type of deal where you really get in tune with yourself and you learn so much about how you interact with people and what you like and what you don't like. So you'll meet people and it's fun, but I think it's really good to just learn to enjoy your own time with yourself.